How'd you guys do on Birgitta?
Looks like I'm gonna have to pity her.
She's pretty.
Same.
And get her artifact from the shop. So.
Also, we have the verdict, by the way. I mean, I'm sure people have already watched other content creators, but I was gonna say Red stayed up all night testing her. He's like, yeah, she's terrible. She's awful. Like, unusable.
Yep.
Which makes her a must pull for when she gets buffed. Because, you know, just like your neighbor in a Ferrari, Smallgate always overcompensates.
Yeah, so, here's my initial thoughts on Birgitta, and this is literally what I sent to Smilegate, right? Her art and animation is insane. She is beautiful, her voice lines are great, her voice acting is spot on. I love everything about the aesthetic of this unit. I like the art style, I like the look. Fantastic unit. I wish I could play her more because she doesn't look usable or playable in any way. She has no synergy with any of the current meta units. I can't find any use for her in PvE.
Wait, what element is she?
She is water. I can't find any usage for her in Arena. In fact, when we tried to use her in Arena, all we did is D rank. Guild War usage is theoretical. I think she might have some potential there, so I gave her a 5 out of 10, but I guess we'll find out tomorrow when we actually get to use her in Arena. And RTA usage, all she did in RTA is sit there and look pretty, while the other 3 units either won or lost the fight. We played this unit for like 2 hours last night in Sue's room, and she never won a fight. And I mean never won a fight. If her team won a fight, she was just standing there being a cheerleader while the rest of the team carried. She was either directly responsible for the downfall of the team because she brought nothing to the team, or caused the team to get killed because of units like Politis and Selene. Or the team just won without her. She was almost always the last unit alive because everybody could just ignore her and kill the rest of the team around her and then finish her off while she stood there doing absolutely nothing. Now, I will preface this with saying she's only been out for like 10 hours. So I'm going to wait for the chefs to cook. But we've watched some pretty big master chefs. If Redos can't figure her out, if Sue can't figure her out, if Genazad can't figure her out, if Kana can't figure her out, it's not hopeful. If Professor Loki in normal arena can't figure her out, that's like his kink, is doing stuff in normal arena that nobody else thinks of. And all he did was drop from Champion 1 to Challenger 4, trying to figure her out. I don't know. Right now, it looks like her only use in the game is holding gear so your gear doesn't get overloaded, and looking freaking amazing in the arena.
And taking up slot 299. Although I will disagree with you, I think she has one solid application in the game.
Yeah.
She is the beautiful, mysterious, new, sexy version of Kayn. She will be our Rift savior. She will be necessary for no good fucking reason when Rift comes back and it's water-based, and you'll need this unit, and you will cry to the heavens when you didn't pull on her.
Oh, that is one spicy take. You think she is going to be the linchpin for Rift like Kayn was?
Yes, that is my prediction.
You heard it here, guys. Divine Shadow's prediction.
Yeah,
her banner's up for 2 weeks. Hopefully, if this is the case, Rift is announced within the next 2 weeks. But yeah, she does have unique buffs, or unique debuffs, and maybe those are going to be necessary.
You can't. Her S3 only works on heroes. It's literally in the description.
But what if the boss says, you can't debuff me unless your name's Birgitta? You know? What if? You know? Huh?
Man, the cope on this is so hard. Anyways, at this point, the only person who hasn't tested the character that I usually like see what their opinion is Elfmage, and that doesn't leave me optimistic because Elfmage has got probably like some of the best gear in the entire game. So if he's playing it and says it's good, that's not necessarily a sign that it's good. That just means he's probably gear gapping his opponents.
As for builds, I just slapped 4 pieces of gear on her, but I tried to go good. I think you want to make her as tanky as possible and give her over 100 effectiveness. Mine's shy on effectiveness. The more effectiveness, the better, because if she doesn't debuff things, what good is she? So I think you build her effectiveness-wise kind of on par with units like Sid and DDR, units where you need debuffs to happen and you're not, because you can't always rely on ignore ER. I think the tankiness is about where you'd want her. You know, maybe 18 to 20k health, maybe 16 to 18k defense, because she needs to survive. And the only thing that I'm suffering on is I think you want her faster than this, so she can take turns. But the crazy thing is I wound up getting her. I thought I had her on a counter set. I was all excited because I thought I had her a counter set, and I fought her all last night and then realized she's not on a counter set. She's on a complete broken set. But
here we go.
I think you got her in the 220 to 230 range minimum, so she can take turns. But
no, I think that's still too slow. I'll be real with you. I think the way you build this character is you just treat her like she's Solitaria.
Well, I think the way you build this character is you build her exactly like this. You just have her hold pieces of gear, and then you don't actually play her. But
yeah,
okay,
if you want,
Sue was thinking 260 is a minimum speed range.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think you just build this character as if she was Solitaria.
I think my only problem is if you're taking gear that makes you 260, I gotta start asking why. And I don't think she has a good enough answer.
This was my review of her when I did it last week. I was just like, look, she just looks like Nicole, but fair. And unfortunately, in 2024 of Epic 7, they have so massively messed up the power scaling, right? Like, power creep is so good, like, so high right now in the game that it's just very difficult for characters to find their place. Like, they usually need massive overhauls.
Could you talk about something that's real instead of this boogeyman of power creep you keep bringing up? Like, the next thing I know, you're going to tell me global warming or some bullshit like that.
So there you go. This is a little bit more on par, but I would want to get maybe 400 more defense and 10 more speed on her to be happy with this unit. And in doing that, all that means is she's going to go faster and still disappoint. I don't know, guys. I really, really, really hope some master chefs out there find some cool synergy, find a niche for her. It's happened before. It's happened where a unit has come out, and for the first several days, everybody has just said, terrible, garbage, needs a buff. And then she's found her spot. I mean, it's not even been in, it's not even distant history where people have said this unit is garbage and can't be used, and then she found her niche. So
Abyssal was considered garbage for the first 3 days.
Yep.
It ended up becoming the best unit.
I remember seeing the word skip so many times on this unit, and now she's like one of the most important units in the game.
Oh yeah. I think
I'm not discounting her yet. If you spent money on her, all I have to say is you really should let the chefs cook before you spend money on units. But if you spent money on her, don't lose heart yet. You've got 2 things. One is people might figure out how we can use her. And 2, nothing stays garbage forever. Am I right?
Enoch.
Am I right?
Enoch.
We're not talking about Enoch. Nobody ever talks about Enoch. Don't let it happen again, Sue.
Red Aramentha.
Red Aramentha. I fought, who was it? It wasn't Potato Balls. Shoot. I can't even remember, but I went into a fight, he picked Red Aramentha, and I thought he was just messing with me, disrespecting me or something. I got obliterated by that unit. She is very, very playable. There are better options, but she is very playable. You can put the right gear on her and ruin lives with that unit, but I don't know if there's any threshold of gear that's going to make Birgitta functional, but I guess we'll see when Elf Mage goes live. So, anyway, that's my initial thoughts on Birgitta. Hopefully somebody figures it out because she is too damn cool to be this bad.
Yep. You nailed it. I'm pretty bummed, honestly. I was hoping that she would be a bit better. Like, it's no secret at this point. Like I'm a big Wendy Lee fan, so just like having her in the game is already like major plus
That's
in
right.
my book.
This is her first time voicing an E7 unit, isn't it?
Yep. For those of you guys who don't know, like Wendy Lee is the voice of Haruhi Suzumiya. My literal handle in Epic 7 is Suzumiya. So as you can tell, I'm pretty bummed. Yeah, I'm pretty bummed about it. Artifact banner with a hero attached, to be honest. That's probably accurate.
Yeah, I mentioned that last night. I said she reminds me a lot of Abigail, right? Because here's a unit that, you know, is not the easiest thing to use. But her artifact is Golden Rose, and that is one of the most sought after artifacts. So she is somewhat like that, except that, you know, there are actually places where you can use Abigail. I'm not entirely sure. There are places where you can use Birgitta, but yeah, it's for sure an artifact banner because, holy crap, tags book for Soul Weavers. Now, there's not a lot of Soul Weavers that can get away with using this. First, it has to be a very, very fast Soul Weaver because it's got to take a turn, and you typically want your souls to be for the rest of your team. So you want this to be a Soul Weaver that goes before the units who use souls. And there's not that many of them, right? There is Moon Bunny Dominial is fast. There is Ahmed, but you probably want Ahmed on her own artifact. There's DDR, potentially really, really good for DDR. Who am I missing in the world of giga-fast Soul Weavers? Let's see.
Ning Ning. To be fair, that's the same.
That's kind of it. Now, I mean, you could put it on Elena if you trust your CR pushing enough. Her passive should trigger it. So by nature of her passive going off. So I think these three are kind of it. Well, I mean, maybe Ahmed and Singelica, but really, I think Ahmed's better on her own artifact, and Singelica you either need to be resistant or you put her on Prophetic Candlestick. But there's not a plethora of giga-fast Soul Weavers. I mean, if you have a tech-built DN or a tech-built DDR or a tech-built Ning Ning, sure, but these aren't common units. I think it's a mistake to put it on OBL. She needs the healing of Ice Crystal or the pushings of Soul Consolation. But I guess you maybe could tech it into her as well. See, I really think only maybe 3 meat and potato Soul Weavers for this artifact, really. So I wouldn't necessarily dive into this banner trying to get 5 or 6 of that artifact. But, yeah. DN as well. DN is not used very often. If you use DN, sure. If you use Amelia, sure. If you use Ning Ning or DDR, sure. But these aren't commonly used units.
No, I wouldn't use it on Infinite Horizon either, because the thing about Horizon is that she can't.
Arcades? You think this is gonna work on Moonlight on freaking Shooting Star Arcades?
No, I don't.
Oh
think
wait,
that.
he's talking about Horchata.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Infinite Horizon. No, I don't think so either.
I don't like it on her.
The biggest problem with Infinite Horizon is that she doesn't self-sustain. So, like, having unfading memories, I think, is just too important on her because, 1, it takes away her biggest weakness, and 2, it gives you ER, which the matches where you need her, ER is, like, really, 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 really important.
I am not sure I would be willing to sacrifice the power of this artifact for 15 to 20 extra souls. It could have some tech uses on Ahmed, but I don't like it on Ahmed. Now, I'm sticking to my guns, guys. I think as far as Soul Weavers are concerned, these 3 are kind of it for, like, it's very usable there. I think it can be used on others, but it can only be used on others if, 1, you actually use those units and you use them to a high level, or 2, you don't have what is clearly a better artifact for them. Just my 2 cents. I've seen a lot of aggro play and almost no Amelia, Groot. Like I said, if you use the unit, if you use DN, it's got potential there. If you use Bassar, it's got potential there. If you use Amelia, it's got potential there. But people don't use these units. And I don't think this artifact is value enough to force them back into existence. But if you're already using those units, for sure. But with the existing meta, I think that's about it, guys. Anywho, we got some AI to do. Oh no, we'll see where Smilegate goes with her. Oh, you know Elv will have like 3. I would like to have 3 of those maxed out. I'd like to have 1 of those maxed out. I got Birgitta as my 5th unit in my first 10 pull. And then Sue convinced me to go ahead and burn the rest of my Skystones going for the artifact. I did 3 more 10 pulls, and on the 3rd 10 pull, I got Birgitta again. And I went, you know what? That's fine. I'm going to take my 2 Brigittas and quit. I went to the powder shop and grabbed the artifact. And I am not chasing the artifact in that banner. It's a non-limited artifact. I'll wait for it to appear in the shop for 180. You know, wait for its rotation and then just buy a whole bunch there. But right now, that's the other thing. It's not like Tag's book. It's not the beginning of the fight. It's only when you use a non-attack skill. So it's on a limited number of Soul Weavers who are also openers. And not many of us use Soul Weavers as openers. I think I am most likely to build my Elena faster and put it on Elena. I think that's really most likely where it's going to wind up. Possibly on DDR, but having that cleanse on DDR is nice. So I don't know. I'll figure it out.